While the rest of the country shivers from January temperatures, San Antonio is an enclave against the cold. It's in the 70s down here in South Central Texas. Two teams looking to get hot in Conference USA play. Western Kentucky versus UTSA. We welcome you to Stadium's coverage of Conference USA basketball. It's our lid lifter. Alongside Dr. John Giannini, I'm Chris Foster. So, Doc, what's your diagnosis of the conference this season?
This is the strongest Conference USA I've seen in a very long time. FAU, UAB, North Texas, all firmly in the NCAA tournament discussion. A lot of other talented teams. One of them, Western Kentucky, here today, might be the most talented in this league.
And yet they're 0-3 in conference play. That's kind of surprising. If the Hilltoppers want to get back on track, it's got to start with Davion McKnight.
McKnight has been the one constant for the Hilltoppers. He's been consistent throughout their season so far. Very strong going to the basket, a master of the mid-range. His physical strength from the point guard position stands out. Taking the ball from the opposition there, setting up his teammates. The whole Hilltopper offense begins and ends with McKnight.
He is heating up over his last 6 games. Look at this, averaging just under 24 points per game. Can Western Kentucky get some scoring around him? That's something we'll be keeping our eyes on. Now, for UTSA, this is a new backcourt with respect to the conference dynamic, but a very good one, starting with Jaffe Medor.
Medor will be the quickest player on the court today. He's the quickest player on the court just about every night. Creates for his teammates, scores, terrific point guard for the Roadrunners.
And John Buggs is kind of the yin to his yang. Buggs is a really good three-point shooter.
This guy lives in the gym. Part of his routine, he comes back after games and shoots for an extra hour. He has earned the right for the green light from 3.
I know you'd love to coach a guy like John Buggs, and who wouldn't when he's knocking down shots like this? Game winner to give UTSA its first Conference USA dub of the season over Middle Tennessee State. This is the heart of the Roadrunners offense. Medor and Buggs averaging in double figures. They both need to get going to knock off Western Kentucky and get the Roadrunners on a bit of a win streak. Great to be with you from San Antonio. Tip-off between the Toppers and the Runners coming up next on Stadium.
We welcome you inside the Dean Smith Center in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Tonight's ACC basketball presented by your local Ford dealer. Game number 2 for the top-ranked Tar Heels as North Carolina takes on the Cougars of College of Charleston. And we welcome you courtside, Evan Lepler. Great to have you with us tonight. What must it feel like to be North Carolina right now after the magical roller coaster that was last season, to get so close to the brink of a championship, to bring almost everybody back, to be the preseason #1, and now to experience the expectations and pressure that goes with that? What does it feel like? My broadcast partner knows exactly what that's like. Mike Jaminski in the late 70s at Duke. He went to the Final Four, lost in the final, came back preseason #1. What was it like?
Very inverted, very similar feeling for me. I mean, we came out of nowhere, expectations low, play for the national championship. You come back next year, preseason #1, the fans all excited about this season. The core is the same, but everything's different. They're going to have to work in some new people to this game.
And they are experiencing that new dynamic that you described. It's a different feeling from a year ago. That's what Hubert Davis emphasized. In year 1 for Coach Davis, they took the Tar Heels down to Charleston and experienced a barrage of Rain Smith threes. The Australian sharpshooter is back. Tar Heels ultimately got the win last year. UNC, Charleston, one of these teams will be 2-0 by the end of the night. Tip-off coming up.
They're Wilson home.
Goodbye non-conference. Hello Missouri Valley restart at one of the league's 3 new venues in Nashville. It's Bradley's first ever trip to the Curb Event Center to take on the Belmont Bruins, one of the new kids on the block in the Missouri Valley. We hope you had a great holiday. Glad you're with us for the start of the Missouri Valley Restart with the Hall of Famer Kevin Lehman, Connor Onion. Now, Brian Wardle has been the head coach almost a decade at Bradley. Historically, slow start, big finish, but they can get to 3-0 for the first time under Wardle tonight.
Well, this is a Bradley team that's healthy, and they're hot, too. They won 6 of the last 7, and they're going against a Belmont team that's also hot. They won 7 of the last 9. But we got contrasting styles. You got a Belmont team that wants to get up down the court. They're ranked nationally in three-pointers made, three-point percentage. And a Bradley team, they pride themselves in defense and rebounding. This is a great matchup tonight.
It is. You mentioned both are hot, and part of the reason Bradley's hot, they got Rink Mast healthy.
Oh, Rink Mast, since he's been back 7 games back, he has been tremendous at both ends of the court. He can knock down the 3 ball, stretch your defense out, defends inside, can get to the rim and finish strong. Rink Mast is shooting 60% on the season. And now when you go to the other end, you've got Ben Shepherd. He can beat you with a 3 ball. He had 8 triples against Middle Tennessee. Beat you off the bounce and get to the rim. When I think of Ben Shepherd, I think of sprinter speed. He can change a game in an instant.
A long, smooth athlete with that sprinter speed. It's Belmont and Bradley. We cannot wait to get the Valley Restart going tonight in Nashville. Braves and Bruins on the other side with tip-off.
Arena, already one of the top atmospheres in all of college basketball. That might be ramped up just a little bit because the Flyers are top 25 ranked in the country and play host tonight to the Mustangs from SMU here on Bally Sports Ohio. And hi again, everyone. My pleasure to be working alongside former Flyers captain Derek Dukes. I'm Jim Day, and Derek, a lot of excitement here in Flyers country. A lot of returning faces, and when you're ranked in the top 25, the expectations, well, they ramp up.
Well, Jim, you're absolutely right. We all know about March Madness, but here in Dayton, there's Fire Madness because of the expectations for this Dayton basketball team. When you have 5 returning starters in the Atlantic 10 Sixth Man of the Year, you expect to have an elite basketball team. This team was 1 game away from being in the NCAA tournament last year. They're determined to make sure their season and their NCAA tournament hopes doesn't come down to 1 game.
And leading that hype train, and rightly so, the big man inside, Deron Holmes, in his sophomore season.
Well, Deron Holmes is one of the top young bigs in all of college basketball. He led this Dayton team in points at just under 13 points per game, and he's also their top shot blocker. Last year, setting a school record 81 blocks in his freshman campaign. He truly is the centerpiece on offense and the anchor on defense for this Dayton team.
SMU has had Dayton's number of late, so revenge in mind tonight for the Flyers as well. Should be a good one. The American Athletic Conference versus the Atlantic 10. And the tip is coming up next.
St. Louis University Billiken basketball, it is back. The jewel of Midtown, Chaffetz Arena. And tonight, from the Missouri Valley Conference, the Racers of Murray State to take on the Billikens of St. Louis U. And with the Billikens Hall of Famer, Scott Highmark, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Great to be back with another year of Billiken basketball. Great to be back with you, Scotty. And the Billikens return so many very good players. Should be a fun season.
Yeah, there are certainly high expectations here in Midtown. There's a ton of experience, depth, and talent. This is a team, Dan, that won 23 wins last year. It could be a very special season for the Billikens.
And leading the way, one of the best point guards in the country. How about Yuri Collins?
Well, Travis Ford thinks he is the best point guard in the country, and for good reason. He led the nation in assists with almost 8 a game. His vision, his pacing, and his decision-making are what makes him so special, Dan.
Yuri Collins is the all-time assist man in St. Louis University Billiken basketball history. He can shoot it a bit. This guy, though, we know can shoot it a lot. He can fill it up from deep and that's Gibson Jimerson.
Well, Gibson Jimerson led this team in scoring at 16 points per game. When Javante Perkins went down, he really stepped up his game, getting to the free throw line, knocked down 87 threes last season, and I would look for him to build on that confidence this year and score even more.
It is a rainy and flat-out ugly day in Northern California. And here at the Levy Center on the Santa Clara campus, we expect things to be stormy as well. One of the West Coast Conference's oldest rivalries renews today. It's St. Mary's, 11-4, and Santa Clara, 13-3. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins, once more with partner Dan Belwamini. And Danny, we have this rivalry that's been going on since 1909. And I truly doubt that these two teams have ever come in here on as much of a roll in the history of this series as they are today.
Well, they're hot, both teams, no question about it. Look at Santa Clara's won 5 in a row. They get a big win against USF a couple of nights ago. And, of course, St. Mary's consistently good, but really impressive with their big win against the University of San Diego.
Let's talk about key players in this game. And we talk about two guys, one for St. Mary's and one for Santa Clara, for two very different reasons.
You do. You look at Saxon. Now, here's a guy that's been in the program. He's strong. He's getting better and better, coming off a 20-point game on, by the way, only 11 shots. So that's impressive. But how about this guy who transfers into Santa Clara, Brandon Pajemski? He is huge. He comes up with 18 against USF. He's really the leader of this Santa Clara team.
And a terrific leader he's been. He scored more points in his very first game at Santa Clara than he did his entire 1-year career at the University of Illinois. Talk about a great find. And Randy Bennett always seems to do well with big men. He gets one after another, and they all improve every year until they graduate. He's got 2 more years out of this guy. We're coming back. Tip-off after this.